The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath. 3 times Randolph Carter dreamed of the marvelous city, and 3 times he was snatched away while he still paused on the high terrace above it. All golden and lovely it blazed in the sunset, with walls, temples, colonnades, and arched bridges of veined marble, silver basined fountains, a prismatic spray, in broad squares and perfumed gardens, and wide streets, marching between delicate trees and blossom-laden urns, and ivory statues in gleaming rows, while on steep northward slopes climbed tiers of red roofs and old peaked gables, harboring little lanes of grassy cobbles. It was a fever of the entities, a fanfare of supernal trumpets, and a clash of immortal cymbals. Mystery hung about it, as the clouds about a fabulous, unvisited mountain. And as Carter stood breathless and expectant on that balustraded parapet, there swept up to him the poignancy and suspense of almost vanished memory, the pain of lost things, and the maddening need to place again what once had been an awesome and momentous place. He knew that for him its meaning must have been supreme, though in what cycle or incarnation he had known it, or whether to dream or in waking he could not tell. Vaguely it called up glimpses of a far-forgotten first youth, when wonder and pleasure lay in all the mystery of days, and dawn and dusk alike strode forth prophetic in the eager sound of lutes and song, unclosing fiery gates toward further and surprising marvels. But each night, as he stood on that high marble terrace, with the curious urns and carven rail, and looked off over that hushed sunset city of beauty and unearthly eminence, he felt the bondage of dreams, tyrannous entities, for no wise could he leave that lofty spot, or descend the wide marmoreal flights, flung endlessly down to where the streets of elder witchery lay outspread and beckoning. When, for the third time, he awakened, those flights still undescended, and those hushed sunset streets still untraversed, he prayed long and earnestly to the hidden entities of dream that brood capricious above the clouds on unknown Kadath, in the cold waste where no man treads. Teen Male Gin. But the entities made no answer and showed no relenting, nor did they give any favoring sign which they prayed, when he prayed to them in dream, and invoked them sacrificially through the bearded priests of Nasht and Kamantha, whose cavern temple, with its pillar of flame, lies not far from the gates of the waking world. It seemed, however, that his prayers must have been adversely hard, for even after the first of them he ceased wholly to behold the marvelous city, as if his 3 glimpses from afar had been more accidents or oversights, and against some hidden plan or wish of the entities. At length, sick with longing for those glittering sunset streets and cryptical hill lanes among ancient tilled roofs, nor able sleeping or waking to drive them from his mind, Carter resolved to go with bold entreaty, whither no man had gone before, and dare the icy deserts, through the dark, to where unknown Kadath, veiled in cloud and crowned with unimagined stars, holds, secret and nocturnal, the Ank's castle of the great ones. In light slumber he descended the 70 steps to the cavern of flame, and talked of this design to the bearded priest, Nasht and Kamantha, and the priest shook their patient bearing heads, and vowed it would be the death of his soul. They pointed out that the great ones had shown already their wish, and that it is not agreeable to them to be harassed by insistent pleas. They reminded him, too, that not only had no man ever been to Kadath, but no man ever suspected in what part of space it may lie, whether it be in the dreamlands or around our own world. are in those surrounding some unguessed companion of Fomalhaut, are Aldebaran. If in our dreamland it might conceivably be reached, but only 3 human souls since time began had ever crossed and recrossed the black impious gulfs to the other dreamlands, and of that 3, 2 had come back quite mad. The madness and appearance of demons. There were in such voyages incalculable local dangers, as well as that shocking final peril which gibbers unmentionably outside the ordered universe where no dreams reach. The last amorphous blight of nethermost confusion which blasphemies and bubbles at the center of all infinity, the boundless Daman Sultan, Azathoth, whose name no lips dare speak aloud, and who gnaws hungrily in the inconceivable, unlighted chambers beyond time, amidst the muffled, maddening beating of vile drums, and the thin, monotonous whine of accursed flutes, to which detestable pounding and piping dance slowly, awkwardly, and absurdly the gigantic, ultimate entities, the blind, voiceless, tenebros, mindless, other entities, whose soul and messenger is the crawling chaos, Nyarlathotep. Of these things was Carter warned by the priests, Nasht and Kaban Ba, in the cavern of flame, but still he resolved to find the entities on unknown Kadath in the cold waste, wherever that might be, and to win from them the sight and remembrance and shelter of the marvelous sunset city. He knew that his journey would be strange and long, and that the great ones would be against it, but, being old in the land of dream, he counted on many useful memories and devices to aid him. So, asking a formal blessing of the priests, and thinking shrewdly on his course, he boldly descended the 700 steps to the gate of deeper slumber, and set out through the enchanted wood. How many steps is it up to the place where Muhammad meditated in the cave? It's a similar number, isn't it? In the tunnels of that twisted wood, whose low prodigious oaks twine groping boughs, and shine dim with the phosphorescence of strange fungi, dwell the furtive and secretive Zoogs, who know many obscure secrets of the dream world and few of the waking world, since the wood at 2 places touches the lands of men, though it would be disastrous to say where. Certain unexplained rumors, events, and vanishments occur among men, where the Zoogs have access, but it is well that they cannot travel far outside the world of dreams, but over the nearer parts of the dream world they pass freely, flitting small and brown and unseen, and bearing back piquant tales to beguile the hours around their hearths. In the forests they love. Most of them live in burrows, but some inhabit the trunks of the great trees, and although they live mostly on fungi, it is muttered that they have also a slight taste for meat, either physical or spiritual, for certainly many dreamers have entered that wood who have not come out. Carter, however, had no fear, for he was an old dreamer, and had learnt their fluttering language, and made many a treaty with them, having found through their help the splendid city of Clephais in Uth Argai, beyond the Tanarian hills, where reigns half the year the great king Kuranes, a man he had known by another name in life. Kuranes was the one soul who had been to the star gulfs and returned free from madness. Treading now the low phosphorescent aisles between those gigantic trunks, Carter made fluttering sounds in the manner of the Zoogs, and listened now and then for responses. He remembered one particular village of the creatures was in the center of the wood, where a circle of great mossy stones in what was once a clearing tells of older and more terrible dwellers long forgotten, and toward this spot he hastened. He traced his way by the grotesque fungi, which always seemed better nourished as one approaches the dread circle where elder beings danced and sacrificed. Finally, the light of those thicker fungi revealed a sinister green and gray vastness pushing up through the roof of the forest and out of sight. This was the nearest of the great ring of stones, and Carter knew he was close to the Zug village. Renewing his fluttering sound, he waited patiently and was at last rewarded by an impression of many eyes watching him. It was the Zugs, for one sees their weird eyes long before one can discern their small, slippery, brown outlines. Out they swarmed from hidden burrow and honeycomb street, till the whole dim-lit region was alive with them. Some of the wilder ones brushed Carter unpleasantly, and one even nipped loathsomely at his ear. But these lawless spirits were soon restrained by their elders. The council of sages, recognizing the visitor, offered a gourd of fermented sap from a haunted tree unlike the others, which had grown from a seed dropped down by someone on the moon. And as Carter drank it ceremoniously, a very strange colloquy began. The Zugs did not, unfortunately, know where the peak of Kadath lies, nor could they even say whether the cold waste is in our dream world or in another. Rumors of the great ones came equally from all points, and one might say only that they were likelier to be seen on high mountain peaks than in valleys, since on such peaks they dance reminiscently, when the moon is above and the clouds beneath. Then one very ancient Zug recalled a thing unheard of by others, and said that in Ulthar, beyond the river sky, there still lingered the last copy of those inconceivably old Coptic manuscripts, made by waking men in forgotten boreal kingdoms, and born into the land of dreams, when the hairy cannibal Gnothkes overcame many-templed Olatho, and slew all the heroes of the land of Lamar. Those manuscripts, he said, told much of the entities, and beside, in Ulthar, there were men who had seen the signs of the entities, and even one old priest who had scaled a great mountain to behold them dancing by moonlight. He had failed, though his companion had succeeded and perished namelessly. So Randolph Carter thanked the Zugs, who fluttered amicably, and gave him another gourd of moon tree wine to take with him, and set out through the phosphorescent wood for the other side, where the rushing sky flows down from the slopes of Larion and Hatheg, and nearer and Ulthar dot the plain. Behind him, furtive and unseen, crept several of the curious Zugs, for they wished to learn what might befall them, and bear back the legend to their people. The vast oaks grew thicker as he pushed on beyond the village, and he looked sharply for a certain spot where they would thin somewhat, standing quite dead or dying among the unnaturally dense fungi and the rotting mold and the mushy logs of their fallen brothers.